Today we're going to be disassembling the standard manufacturing switch gun. This is a complicated, very simple to disassemble, but quite a bit more complicated to reassemble. So all you'll need for this is, of course, make sure your gun is unloaded, as we are. First, all I'll be using here is a punch and a 3/32 Allen key, and that should be all we need. That I just reassembled it and disassembled it for the first time, but here we will see how it goes. So obviously we're gonna remove the cylinder like so. And after here, all we gotta do is we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then on the other side 5. So I'm gonna fast forward these parts, but we just turn these. I'd start with the top one and then work your way down. Be very careful once you get to these bottom ones, because there's a spring and a guide right here that functions the switch action, and it wants to kick out really bad. So if you're doing this, be careful of that. All right, got 3 more left. And as you're taking these middle 2 out, they will have a nut, a lock nut that comes off with them. You see right there? And then these last 2 are important. Remember, as you take them out, there's a spring that's going to want to fly straight out the bottom right at you. And you do not want to lose that spring, or more importantly, the guide. So make sure you're putting pressure down on this while you, and there's another. Well, that nut came out. Last time I did this, these lock nuts stayed in. Oh, that one's coming out too. All right. So I guess all of them have lock nuts that come out. All right, remember, maintain pressure. All right, we have all these out. And now I'm going to slowly open it and make sure, as I open it, I catch the guides. There's a lot of springs in here. See, they all like to explode. All right, so there's the part that wants to jump out. It's a little guide rod on a spring. So that's as simple. It's very simple to undo. The getting back together is the hard part. So we'll start that real quick. It might take a bit longer. All right, so let's try to get this thing reassembled. So step number 1 is we're going to make sure this guide is hooked on this little lip right here. Be very careful of that. And so we're going to take the guide rod and the spring here. We're just going to push it back real quick, and it's going to rest on this little lip right below the handle. It's going to barely stay on there. And then I'm going to take my thumb and hold down right here. And then I'm going to try to put the other part of the handle on top of it and just get it in there on top. And that looked like it worked pretty good. Now I'm going to put 2 keys, or 2 screws in here. One each with a lock nut on the other side. So turn it over. Why are you trying to fall apart on me? Maybe I'm not doing this the best way, but this is probably the hardest gun I've ever taken apart. So we're just gonna tighten these so that the spring and the guide can't pop out, hopefully, as we try to fix or try to assemble the other parts of it. And you don't have to tighten these down fully. Like, you could leave them. You kind of want some give. So that's probably good. I don't have them fully tightened. This is the hard part. This is what took me a little bit to figure out. This spring here is probably the most important and hardest part. So it's what provides the tension for the flip up motion of the gun. That's why it's so important. So this little part of the spring goes in there, real easy. And so I don't know if you've ever worked with guns before and you know how these types of springs tend to work. This is the tension. So we need to get this gun to have tension. I could assemble it wrong, and then you'll go to flip this little piece here that normally makes the gun flip up, and it'll just go bleh, bleh. It should go whoosh, but it'll just go bleh. So I'm going to come in here. It's hard to see. I got my headlamp on because I can't even see what's going on hardly. You just kind of want to set that little piece on top of that hole. I know my descriptions aren't great. All right, step one, that's flush now. Now, see that little spring I was telling you about down in there? See that? I need to take my pin or punch, and I'm gonna push that thing down, and I'm gonna try to lock it in one of these plastic grooves that are up in here in the in the side of the handguard. It's hard for me to describe, but you'll probably understand what I'm saying on your own gun. So I'm gonna kind of close this lid a little bit. Oh man. Just like cut that, kind of leave a little gap to get my punch in. And I'm gonna force this spring. I'm gonna grab it with the end. I'm gonna force it down and around. Like this. You probably won't get it first try. I did not. You gotta be a little hard on it. There. Ooh, I think I might have got it. Oh, I got it. See how it seals flush? If it seals flush, that means you got it in one of the holes. And then we got to test if the tension's right, obviously. So to test it, that it works. That was actually so good. You would not have guessed that it took me like an hour or more to figure this out, because I wasn't able to find a video on YouTube that showed how to disassemble it. They would have videos of talking about, oh, this is how you disassemble it. But in reality, it was just someone taking like the cylinder out or something. So that screws in there, holding it tight. So let's test. Oh yeah, see that? That's how it's supposed to function. You should push down, it should like spring back up, right? And we can test the locking mechanism and press the release, and it works. That is amazing how fast I did that. So we're just gonna finish by tightening the screws at the bottom here down. So all done putting the screws in. Now obviously all we gotta do left is pop the cylinder in. The guide rod pin thing. And looks like it works. Thanks for watching.